A very good morning to all my dear children. I hope you all have done the corrections in your textbook sent to you yesterday. A quick recall of what we did in the previous two sessions. We learned about Earth, our home, the solar system or the solar family with which we are directly or indirectly connected with. About various planets, meteors, constellations which are part of the solar system, about the latitudes, longitudes, and also how the earth is divided into various zones, that is torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zone, depending upon the difference in the temperature due to the angle of sunlight falling in these zones. So let's dive into today's session. Just like the rest of the planets in the solar system, planet Earth moves in two ways: rotation and revolution. When the Earth spins around its own axis, this movement is called rotation. The Earth spins around an imaginary line which passes through the poles and is tilted at 23.5 degrees. Its axis is also a little inclined. It takes 24 hours to complete one rotation on its axis, equivalent to 1 day. Rotation explains day and night. It's daytime in the part of the earth that's facing the sun and nighttime on the dark side. Rotation means that earth is spinning around itself. The earth completes a cycle of 1670 kilometers per hour on equator. Let's learn about revolution. The movement of the earth around the sun is called revolution. The earth takes one whole year to go around the sun. Before, people used to think that the orbit of the earth around the sun was circular, but they weren't right. As you can see, here the orbit is elliptical. It takes 365 days and 6 hours for the earth to complete its revolution. This period is called a year. The imaginary path on which the earth revolves is called an orbit. The earth rotates inclined at 23.5 degrees on its axis and at 66.5 degrees along its orbit. Due to revolution of the earth, seasons occur and days and nights are extended and shortened. Day and night occur due to rotation of the earth on its own axis. Thus, every part of earth experiences light and darkness from light in every 24 hours. Because the earth is tilted on its axis, the length of day and night varies, but every part of the earth experiences morning, afternoon, evening, and night. During June, the northern hemisphere is pointed towards the sun. So during this time, the amount of light will be comparatively more and the days will be longer than 12 hours. There will be less darkness in the northern hemisphere, meaning the nights will be shorter than 12 hours. So, it will be summertime in the northern hemisphere. Because the earth revolves around the sun, during December, the northern hemisphere is pointed away from the sun. So, during this time, the amount of light will be comparatively less and the days will be shorter than 12 hours. There will be more darkness in the northern hemisphere, meaning the nights will be longer than 12 hours, so it will be winter time in the northern hemisphere. Now let us understand what is a leap year. The earth completes its revolution in 365 days and 6 hours. So in fourth year, February, instead of 28 days, we will have 29 days, and in this way we adjust the 6 hours. So this year is called the leap year. Let us try to understand the seasons and equinoxes in brief. Because of the revolution of the earth, we have in the first phase summer, in the second phase rain, in the third phase it is retreating monsoon, and in the fourth phase it is winter. Suppose we take these four positions of the earth. In the first position, the date is 21st of March. In the second position, it is 21st of June. In the third position, it is 23rd September. And in the fourth position, it is 22nd December. When the earth is in second position, the northern hemisphere is facing the sun. And when the earth is in the fourth position, the southern hemisphere is facing the sun. But When the earth is in the first position or in the third position, none of the poles are facing the sun. So, this inclination of the earth's axis does not have any impact on the sun rays that it receives. So, on 21st of March, vertical rays of the sun fall on the equator and the entire earth has equal day and equal nights. But as it is moving from the first position to the second position, slowly the northern hemisphere tilts towards the sun. So, in the northern hemisphere, days become longer and the nights become shorter, and this gives rise to summer conditions. And we can say in this phase it is summer in India. On 21st of June, the vertical rays of the sun falls on the Tropic of Cancer. This is the maximum inclination of the Earth's axis of the northern hemisphere or towards the sun. This is referred to as summer solstice. As we come to the third position, once again the days and nights are equal, and in this phase, India experiences rain. When the earth comes to the third position, the entire earth has equal day and equal night. And as we come to the fourth position, the date is 22nd December. The southern hemisphere is facing the sun and the vertical rays of the sun falls on the Tropic of Capricorn. And this is the time the northern hemisphere experiences winter solstice. The name of the planet on which we live is the Earth. Moon is a natural satellite of Earth. It revolves around the Earth. Sun is the source of light. The Earth, along with Moon revolving around its axis, revolves around the Sun. During revolution, sometimes the Sun, Earth and Moon come in a straight line. Such a situation is called an eclipse. Let's learn about solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. On a new moon day, the Sun, Earth and Moon come in a straight line. Because of this, the shadow of the moon falls on the earth. It is called solar eclipse. So, during a solar eclipse, the moon comes in between the sun and the earth, and so the shadow of moon consists of darker part called umbra and the lighter part called penumbra. On a full moon day, sun, earth and moon come in a straight line. Because of this, the shadow of the earth falls on the moon. It is called lunar eclipse. So, during the lunar eclipse, the earth comes in between the sun and the moon. If the moon passes through the lighter part of the earth, it is called partial lunar eclipse. If it passes through the darker part, it is called total lunar eclipse. During total lunar eclipse, the moon looks red. It is because the sun's light is made up of different colors. When the light of the sun passes from the edges of the earth, because of the partial particles present in the atmosphere, they allow only red light to pass through. The light of other colors spreads in the atmosphere. Because of the red light, moon appears red and it is also called blood moon. The eclipse does not occur on every full moon day or new moon day. It is because the orbit of the moon is tilted from the orbit of the earth. Because of this, the possibility of the sun, earth and moon to come in a straight line is less. So, the shadow of the moon does not fall on the earth on a new moon day, but it falls above or below the earth. Similarly, on a full moon night, the shadow of the earth does not fall on the moon, but it falls above or below the moon. So, on every full moon day or new moon night, we don't have an eclipse. I hope the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse is clear to you. You can also watch the images properly and try to understand. So, with this, we come to the end of our chapter. Go through all the 3 videos and thoroughly try to understand the chapter. Read the chapter from the textbook. Take care. A happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all of you. Thank you.